the Auditor General to conduct compliance audits to examine whether a public entity has complied with relevant laws, regulations, and policies. That is important because it is not just about money and the financials. These are what we call compliance, compliance audits are compliance with laws. And the best example I can give you, Honorable Speaker, is that, I'm the SG of ODM. We also have compliance audits by the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties. And the last one that was conducted on all political parties in Kenya, the report from the ORPP states that ODM is the only political party in Kenya fully compliant with all the laws that govern the operations of political parties. And I'm very proud of that, Honorable Speaker. I don't want to mention any other party. I can see the way the Speaker is looking at me. I might get into trouble. Honorable Speaker, at 38C there, it also provides that the Auditor General may conduct any other audit that she or he may deem necessary for the better carrying out of his function. So those are provisions that I find are going to be very, very useful. There is provisions of timelines at clause 29, which proposes to amend section 39 of the Principal Act, giving us 6 months after Parliament or the County Assembly has made recommendations. So, for instance, Speaker, we made recommendations here to county governments. And in fact, the process that we've been doing right now is to follow up on those recommendations. And Speaker, you will recall that we as a Senate had to pass a special motion for us to be able to continue to engage with these entities, for instance, the county governments, for them to give us follow-up on recommendations. Now, here they have been given a period of 6 months that they have to, within those 6 months of the recommendations being passed, they shall submit a report to Parliament, now to us, on how it has addressed the recommendations of previous year's audit. And this is a matter that I believe is going to be helpful in terms of aiding transparency and the work that we do, both as a Senate and specifically as the County Public Accounts Committee and the PIC. Then, Honorable Speaker, another issue here is at Section 43, one of the issues that the public has really been raining on us, not just as the Public Accounts Committee, but also as a Senate, is that we make all these good recommendations, Honorable Speaker. They can see we are doing our oversight, Speaker. But then they ask, where is the output? Because we have struggled to explain to them that we also depend on other agencies for us to be able to bring, say, rogue governors to heel. You are aware that we had to summon the IG of police, for instance, before the Public Accounts Committee and ask him to give the assurance that if Senate wants or requires the presence of a specific governor, that his office is going to be able to deliver. Sifuna, as Senator of Nairobi, I have no powers of arrest. That's not to mean some of these governors, I don't have the desire to arrest. If I had those powers, Honorable Speaker, some of these people would be in jail. But we depend on other constitutional offices. So if you see clause 43 there, it says where the Auditor General establishes that any person, supplier or audited entity has been involved in fraud or corrupt practice, the Auditor General may collaborate with other investigative, enforcement, regulatory and oversight agencies, including the National Police Service, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, ODPP, and Public Procurement Administrative Review Board, and even the National Treasury for their action. This, I believe, is going to help us, Honorable Speaker, because previously, the reports of the auditor just come to us as Parliament. Then we make those recommendations. This act now is giving the Auditor General a mandate of actually collaborating directly with these people. For instance, the collaboration with National Treasury, in my expectation, is the Auditor General should be able to tell them, the National Treasury, to stop funds going to entities that are found to have misused public funds, or to the Public Procurement Administrative Review Board. You can see there, Honorable Speaker, at subclause 2 of 43, that the Auditor General can actually make recommendations for debarment. Because in my time in the Public Accounts Committee, there are notorious companies that always show up. For instance, in the area of these systems for revenue collection, you will find one entity has brought problems in Nairobi. Then the next time you interact with NAROC, you find out that NAROC has actually given that same company the job of collecting revenue on their behalf. Then you will find them springing up somewhere in Murang'a, because previously we have not had the Auditor General's authority to be able to make these recommendations for debarment of some of these firms so that they stay away from public resources. Then, Mr. Speaker, I think those are the ones that I have identified as
positives, but we will be hoping that we can have conversations about the negatives that I have pointed out, especially stemming from the judgment of the High Court, so that we actually align this act with the judgment. Our biggest fear, Honorable Speaker, as people sworn to defend the Constitution, is certain pronouncements, especially from people in executive authority, both at the national and county levels, castigating these independent offices. Speaker, we have had words being thrown by very senior individuals in this country, at Margaret Nyakango, for instance, at the Office of the Auditor General, at the Office of the Control of Budget. And we fear sometimes when we see such legislation, Honorable Speaker, that there could be a motive to either stifle the operations of that office, to cripple them, or to be able to control them for some reason. Because you will see, for instance, that advisory board, Honorable Speaker, one of the issues that was raised even in the petition and in the judgment is that it was very heavy with, national government officials. In fact, the court had a problem with the Attorney General being a member of that advisory committee because, as you know, the Office of the Attorney General is also subject to audit by the Office of the Auditor General. So we have reason to be skeptical because some of the headlines that we have been seeing coming from the control of budget are not very flattering to the executive. For instance, when we saw the reports on the Social Health Authority and the billions of shillings that she's pointing out, or Talanta Stadium, we have to be very careful because we are sworn to defend the Constitution that some of these amendments don't come or don't end up fettering on the independence of these offices.
Senator Enoch.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for